All right. Hello, everyone. Eric, the racket scientist here, and today I have something very cute for you. This is my wife's racket, Victor Hello Kitty collaboration, much like the Care Bear one. It's very cute, as you can see. And no, I'm not saying that just because it's cute and I'm trying to preserve my sense of masculinity. I do have a wife and this is her racket, but it is not only her racket because it is cute and she is female, because men can enjoy cute things too. For starters, we get a very fun and unique racket sleeve. It's not too common that we get to see unique racket sleeves, and we have a Hello Kitty design here. You can actually get this skirt that was part of the collab, so that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and take out this racket here. Gonna yeet that somewhere. Just, okay, put it over here. So this is one of 3 Hello Kitty racket models that were part of the collab, and this was a collab that happened in around 2022, so it's a couple years old. Not sure if these are still in production, but they had a thruster for sure. There was a thruster one. That one has some navy blue on the shaft. This is the DriveX model, and there was also maybe an R speed, but don't quote me on that. So what we have here is the DriveX model, and then I'm gonna kind of show you around a little bit. See, we have Hello Kitty here written on the shaft. We got some bows, little Hello Kitty on the T-joint here. Lots of pink and white bows, gender neutral accessory, by the way. We can see we have a clear cone indicative of a free core handle. And if you saw the other video that I had on the Victor R Speed 90F, then you'll recognize this cat grip as well from Gosen with the, cat tape. And we also have here a very special Hello Kitty collab grip tape. So this is also part of the collab, and match made in heaven. So that's also very cute. So we're going to do a very special setup today, and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start by peeling this off. And yeah, sticky. So this is marketed as a DriveX racket. However, interesting thing here is it doesn't really share the same frame design as some of the other DriveX rackets. And if you keep up with this channel, you might know that I recently did a review on the DriveX Metallic and DriveX 10 Metallic. And both of those rackets have pretty thick frames, I would say. But the DriveX rackets, they have this kind of feature on the frame, which I really should have pointed out in that review. I did not. But there's this kind of contour right at the, I guess it would be 5 and 7 o'clock, bottom half of the frame. Supposed to help with aerodynamics, but it's a very small contour and kind of a trademark of DriveX rackets, and we don't really have that here. But before I go taking off the stock grip, you'll notice that there are some bows here printed on the stock grip, so we're going to take a moment to appreciate that before we remove it. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully this racket shouldn't take very long, being a free core handle. Oh boy. Yeah, the Hello Kitty collab also had a bunch of other products, including, so I mentioned there was a skirt, and obviously there would be a couple shirts, to my knowledge. There were a couple shirts as well. There's a grip over here. They did a special string pack, I believe. And there might have been socks. There was definitely a towel. There was definitely a bag. And there could be more that I'm not, probably a wristband. That sounds right. So, all right, so what is going on here? That's weird. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like they didn't glue on this cone very well because it's actually kind of slipped off here. And don't worry, I'm going to put it back, but you can kind of lift it up, and we can take this opportunity to take a little bit of a peek inside the free core handle. Let's see how close we can get that to the camera. I guess that's kind of hard to see, huh? But kind of see in there, but that's okay. We can just slide that down. I'm not sure if I want to glue it because I don't want to add any unnecessary weight. I think that when I do my electrical tape, that will probably be enough to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and hope that is the case. Throw away this grip here. And the most fun part, to scrubbing. Yeah. All right, well, place your bets. How many of these little alcohol pad or wipes is it going to take to clean this grip? Actually, I should try to peel off some by hand if I can. Looks like I can get a little bit here. See how cooperative this is. An interesting thing that I also notice, and maybe you have noticed, it's not the lighting, but the plastic used in this handle is much more opaque than the plastic used in most free core handles. Usually you can kind of see through it a little bit, or if it's more clear or on the bluer side, but this is kind of like a, this is more of like a natural plastic color. Very interesting. I've not seen a free core handle this color before. It's another interesting thing to note is that although this was marketed as a DriveX model, there's nothing written on this racket that indicates it as such. Like, it only just says Victor and Hello Kitty. It doesn't really say anything else. And I mean, there's a Sanrio logo here. Sanrio, it says Sanrio license. Like, yes, we officially licensed this product. So it's kind of a, weird flex, but okay, I don't think anyone doubted that. But good to know that you did that through the appropriate legal means, I guess. But I mean, my understanding is that most of the collab rackets do not really tend to be top of the line. I think a certain exception may be some of the Marvel ones. I have heard that, like, for example, the Thor or Spider-Man racket could be top line rackets, but like the Care Bear, Hello Kitty ones, like those, I'm fairly sure are not. Which is fine. Like, if you're buying a collab racket, then it's not. think a lot of the time it's kind of for the novelty, and it's not really the, most of the people who are buying them are more for the collector's item or more because it's cool, right? And so it's, it also helps kind of bring the price point down a little bit again, right? Because like, you know, if you do collab, the price kind of gets inflated due to the need to pay for the licensing, and then you can slap that on a bit of a cheaper model, bring the price down again a little bit. And most people won't really notice, because again, the type of person that's buying this racket is buying it for the novelty or collector's item, or they want something cute to play with or cool to play with in the case of the Marvel ones. But it's like, you know, if you're looking for like, you know, and actually like a good racket to play and be competitive with, then you're not really going to be looking at novelty rackets, right? Like you're not, if you're like, I want a racket to, you know, do well in tournament with, then your mind's not really going to go straight to, oh, I gotta get like, you know, character specific racket or whatever. Yeah, don't get me wrong, some people do that. But you know, it's not really the priority, and like I don't really know what the sales statistics are there, but I'm sure there's something behind that. Okay. Yeah. Well, I will say it took quite a bit longer than expected to clean it up. There was tape adhesive across the whole length of the grip, which took a while. You can kind of see my pile here. I really should have just used like a rag and isopropyl, but it's fine. It's over with now. So we can finally move on to the next step, which is applying the electrical tape. And then, oh, okay, it's weird. Well, you saw before that the cone was loose. Oh, there we go. So I want to make sure I align it properly before I start taping. Okay, that's probably good. And then once we tape this, it's not going to come off, one would hope. So I'm going to figure that out. Okay, so. So far, so good. Scissors. Let's see. Scissors. Okay, literally just saw them. Aha. All right. And with that, all right, and we finally get around to opening up this beautiful Hello Kitty grip. Now, good thing we're getting this on film because this is a limited edition. Oh God. See, I hate it when these packaging, things don't open up that well. Okay, we're gonna have to. Okay. We can also see that we get a Hello Kitty finishing tape here as well. Now, whether or not my wife wants to use that, I will let her choose. So I will just do the grip first and then we'll figure it out later. Well, let's take a look at the grip first. So I'm gonna unravel this. So as you can see here, we got some Hello Kitty print. We have bows. We have the Victor logo, Victor Hello Kitty logo. Taper on one end. Now notably here, interesting, both sides of this grip are covered in plastic. So I'm going to go and take that off. Okay. A little ASMR. Get off my hands. Okay, cool. And because we were doing the reverse, it could be upside down, but seeing as how my wife likes it to look, I think we might actually want to do this right side up, just so the pattern can be right side up. So will be more aesthetically pleasing that way. Isn't that right? So I'm gonna start it off here. Poor Hello Kitty is getting a little stretched, but she's just gonna have to live with that. And there we go. Slowly making our way up. I always thought this was interesting that I understand why companies make limited edition rackets, right, with collabs and stuff, and to some extent the merch too. But it's funny to me that there's limited run kind of grips and strings as well, because those are consumable. So I wonder if people ever just kind of buy those and hang on to them as collector's items, right? Like obviously you'd buy the bag or the racket as a kind of collector's item, but strings and grips are kind of meant to be used, but at the same time it's a special one. So you can argue that you want to preserve it because it's special, but on the other hand, you could also argue that you would also like to preserve it. So What's the school of thought there? I don't know. The logic definitely goes both ways. Actually, maybe we want the grip to go a little bit higher. Let's see if we can make it go a little bit higher. If we make it go a little bit higher, we can also show off a little bit more of the designs, which would be nice because it's Hello Kitty after all. You know, if we wanted to do normal grip and think about the aesthetics, we would do that, but this one is special, so we're gonna spend some time to actually think about how we can maximize the experience of this grip, right? See, that's kind of what it's all about here. And kind of there we go. So see, now we kind of have a much better taper here. So we're gonna, and you never see me do this because I don't grip rackets like this usually, but we're gonna go and kind of slowly give ourselves a nice taper. All right, now let's see how that sits in terms of the grip. I think that looks pretty nice. And then of course, we get to put on our Hello Kitty tape, which is currently stuck to itself. So I'm gonna do that. Now, I don't really apply this tape, so you've never seen me do this, but it's a little tricky. It can be stretchy, you can stretch it, but be mindful that if you do choose to stretch it, it might be easier for it to fall off. And so, you know, I don't typically recommend you try to make it like flat to the cone. What I mean by that is that if you were to stretch it to make it cone shape, then it's kind of a little more likely to let go. Whereas you can see here, it looks a little ugly that, you know, it's kind of not really tapered, but this will not fall off really as easily. So if you are going to use the tape like that, use it like that. And so now we have this beautiful Hello Kitty racket with the Hello Kitty grip, and hopefully my wife will be very happy with this. So, you know, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.